There comes a moment in everyone's life where the weight feels unbearable. You've tried to push forward, yet the same problems seem to resurface, keeping you stuck in place. It's as if life is repeating the same lesson, and no matter how hard you try, the feeling of being trapped by your own thoughts and circumstances never quite goes away. You might even ask yourself, why is this happening to me? Why do I keep falling into the same patterns? That heavy feeling is more common than you think. It's the kind of burden that doesn't just affect your mood. It clouds your days, steals your energy, and makes you doubt yourself. The mind can become a prison, filled with negativity, anxiety, and self-doubt. The more you try to escape it, the tighter the grip feels. But what if there was a way out? What if there was a way to rise above the negativity, to break free from that cycle and reclaim control over your life? There is a way forward, and it has been with us for thousands of years. The answer lies not in something new, but in ancient wisdom that has stood the test of time, Stoicism. A philosophy that empowers you to break free from the chains that hold you back. It offers practical, actionable strategies to take control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your life. It teaches you that while you may not control everything that happens to you, you do control how you respond to it, and in that response lies your greatest power. Think for a moment about the negative thoughts that run through your mind, those silent whispers of doubt, fear, or hopelessness. They creep in when things don't go as planned, or when life throws a curveball your way. Over time, those thoughts create patterns, habits of the mind that make it feel like you're on an endless loop, trapped in the same cycle. It might be anger, anxiety, fear of failure, or the feeling that life is slipping out of your hands. But here's the truth that changes everything. Those thoughts are not you. They are just fleeting clouds passing through the sky of your mind. You don't have to follow them. You don't have to give them power. You have the ability to change your thoughts, and in doing so, change your life. This is where Stoicism comes in, helping you recognize these patterns and, most importantly, break free from them. Stoicism teaches that freedom starts within. It isn't about changing the world around you. It's about changing how you see and respond to it. It offers a blueprint to regain control, starting with your mind. The Stoics knew that the first step to true freedom is understanding what is in your control and what is not. Once you grasp this, you start to let go of the frustration, the worry, and the constant anxiety that comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. How often do we get caught up in things we can't change? Whether it's a job, a relationship, or even how other people treat us, so much of our suffering comes from resisting reality. But Stoicism teaches us that real strength and peace come when we stop resisting and start accepting what is outside of our control. By doing this, you gain a sense of peace that few people ever truly experience. You begin to see that the power has been in your hands all along. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the master of your mind. Yet, letting go is never easy. It's natural to cling to outcomes, to want things to go your way. But think for a moment. Has worrying, overthinking, or clinging to control ever truly made things better? All it does is drain your energy and keep you stuck in the same cycle. Stoicism teaches that life is full of uncertainty, and the key is not in fighting that, but in flowing with it. When you learn to accept what you cannot change and focus your energy on what you can, everything begins to shift. You start to feel lighter, more in control, and less burdened by life's unpredictability. At the heart of Stoicism is the understanding that adversity is not your enemy. The struggles, the hardships, the challenges, they are not there to defeat you, but to strengthen you. Life will never be free from obstacles, but the Stoic mindset helps you turn those obstacles into opportunities. It helps you see that every setback, every failure, every moment of difficulty is a chance to grow, to become better, and to prove to yourself just how resilient you truly are. Think of the moments in life where you felt defeated, moments when you believed things would never get better. Now think about how you eventually overcame them, even if it took time. That strength you found, that inner power, is what Stoicism helps you cultivate every single day. It's a philosophy that teaches resilience, not by pretending life is easy, but by facing life's difficulties head-on, knowing that each challenge is a stepping stone toward becoming your strongest self. Stoicism also invites you to reflect on your attachments, the things, people, and outcomes that you cling to so tightly, believing that your happiness depends on them. It's these attachments that often lead to suffering when life doesn't go as planned. Stoicism shows you how to release those unhealthy attachments, to find peace within yourself, rather than in things that are temporary and outside of your control. Life is a series of moments, but too often we miss them. We're so focused on what's next, what went wrong, or what could happen, that we forget to live fully in the present. Stoicism reminds us that the present moment is all we ever truly have. By practicing mindfulness and staying present, we stop getting caught in the endless loops of fear and regret. We start experiencing life as it is, rich, beautiful, and full of potential. And in those moments when you feel like life has been unfair, when you find yourself asking, "Why me?" Stoicism offers an empowering answer. Why not me? It reminds you that you have the strength to handle whatever life throws your way. You are not powerless. You are not a victim. You are capable of taking ownership of your life, your choices, and your mindset. By letting go of the need for life to be fair, you embrace life as it is, and in doing so, you find freedom. One of the most liberating aspects of Stoicism is its focus on what you can control. The Stoics believed that happiness and freedom come from focusing only on what is within your power, your thoughts, your actions, your reactions. Everything else, let it be. Once you shift your focus to what you can control, you stop being weighed down by the chaos of the world around you. You regain your power. In every challenge, in every setback, there is a lesson. Stoicism encourages you to see adversity not as something to fear, but as something to embrace. It teaches you that the most difficult times in life often lead to the greatest growth. You are not meant to simply survive life's hardships. You are meant to thrive in spite of them. Stoicism offers the tools to do just that. The journey to breaking free from negativity isn't an easy one. It takes discipline, self-reflection, and the willingness to let go of old patterns. But once you commit to this path, everything changes. You start to see that the chains holding you back were never truly locked. You had the key all along. The key is within you. So, what will you do with it? Will you stay trapped in the same cycles, or will you take that first step toward freedom? The choice is yours. Stoicism offers the path, but only you can walk it. All it takes is a shift in mindset, a commitment to growth, and the courage to face life head-on, knowing that you have the power to change it. Not the world, but how you move through it. This is your invitation to free yourself from the burdens that have weighed you down, to break the cycle and step into a life of resilience, peace, and strength. The journey begins now. Will you take the first step? There's a voice in the back of your mind that whispers words of doubt, anxiety, and fear. It's subtle at first, barely noticeable, but it grows louder as the days go by. You start to question yourself, your worth, your choices, your ability to face life. This voice is the negative thought pattern that silently controls so much of your experience, shaping your reality without you even realizing it. But what if you could recognize it, confront it, and break free from its grip? Stoicism offers the tools to help you do just that. Negative thoughts often come in disguised forms. They can masquerade as harmless self-reflection or a way to prepare for the worst. But what they really do is trap you in a cycle of self-doubt and fear. Stoicism teaches you to recognize these thoughts for what they are, just fleeting moments in the mind, not concrete truths about who you are or what you're capable of. In Stoicism, the mind is viewed as a powerful tool, but like any tool, it can be used for or against you, depending on how you manage it. A key aspect of Stoicism is understanding that you are not your thoughts. Negative thinking is just a habit, one that has built up over time, and like any habit, it can be unlearned. But to do that, you first have to be able to identify when it's happening. One of the most effective ways to begin recognizing negative thought patterns is through what the Stoics call judging appearances. This means taking a step back from your immediate emotional reactions and asking yourself, is this really true? For example, when you find yourself thinking, I always fail, or no one cares about me, Stoicism encourages you to pause and question the validity of those thoughts. Is it really that you always fail, or have you simply encountered setbacks that are part of the learning process? Are you truly uncared for, or are you ignoring the people who show concern in subtle ways? By questioning these thoughts, you start to break their power over you. The Stoics teach that our emotions are not directly caused by external events, but by how we interpret those events. In other words, it's not the situation itself that makes you feel anxious or defeated, but how you think about it. This is why identifying and challenging negative thought patterns is so crucial, because your thoughts create your reality. Another key principle of Stoicism that helps in recognizing destructive thinking is the practice of self-awareness. The Stoics believed in taking time every day to reflect on their thoughts and actions, to examine where they went wrong and how they could improve. This daily practice, often done at the end of the day, allows you to track the patterns of negativity that may have slipped under the radar in the moment. By reflecting on your day with honesty and clarity, you begin to notice recurring themes in your thoughts that may be holding you back. But once you've identified these negative patterns, how do you challenge them? Stoicism offers a clear path forward through the use of reason and logic. When negative thoughts arise, the Stoic approach is to counter them with rational, grounded thinking. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed by a sense of failure, ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? What is within my control that I can improve? By shifting the focus from emotional reaction to practical action, you regain control over your mind. Stoicism also teaches that much of our suffering comes from worrying about things that are beyond our control. When negative thoughts arise, they often center on events or outcomes that you have little to no influence over. What if I don't succeed? What if people judge me? These questions lead to endless cycles of worry because they focus on hypothetical situations that may never happen. The Stoic approach is to refocus your mind on what you can control, your actions, your responses, your attitude. By redirecting your energy toward things you can actually influence, you take away the power that negative thoughts have over you. Stoicism encourages you to let go of outcomes and focus on the process. Success or failure, praise or criticism are not within your control, but how you approach the situation, the effort you put in, and the attitude you maintain are. When you embrace this mindset, you free yourself from the anxiety of uncertainty. One of the most powerful aspects of Stoicism is its focus on perspective. Negative thought patterns often thrive because you're viewing the world through a narrow, distorted lens. You might think that a single setback defines your entire journey, or that a moment of weakness means you're a failure. Stoicism teaches you to zoom out and see the bigger picture. A single failure doesn't define your worth, and a difficult moment is just one chapter in a much larger story. By broadening your perspective, you weaken the grip that negativity has on your mind. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of accepting reality as it is, rather than wishing it were different. Negative thought patterns often arise from resistance to what is, wishing that the past could be changed, that people would act differently, or that life could somehow be easier. But Stoicism teaches that peace comes from accepting the world as it is and focusing on how you respond to it. When you stop fighting reality, you free yourself from the frustration and disappointment that come with trying to control the uncontrollable. This acceptance doesn't mean passivity or giving up on improving your circumstances. Instead, it's about directing your energy toward things you can change, starting with your mindset. By accepting what you cannot change and focusing on what you can, you create a sense of inner peace that shields you from the destructive power of negative thoughts. Another way to challenge negative thinking is through gratitude, a practice that the Stoics emphasized as essential to a balanced mind. When negativity takes hold, it's easy to focus solely on what's wrong or missing in your life. Gratitude shifts your attention to what's going right, to the blessings and opportunities you already have. The Stoics believed that even in the worst situations, there is always something to be grateful for, whether it's the strength you've gained through adversity or the simple fact that you're alive to face another day. Gratitude helps to break the cycle of negativity by reminding you that your life is more than just the sum of your worries or fears. It's a powerful tool that redirects your mind away from destructive thoughts and toward a more positive, balanced perspective. When you practice gratitude consistently, it becomes harder for negative thoughts to take root because you've trained your mind to see the good in every situation. The Stoics also taught the value of memento mori, or the reflection on mortality, as a way to break free from negative thought patterns. By regularly contemplating the fact that life is short and unpredictable, you start to see your problems in a different light. The things that once seemed overwhelming or devastating lose their power when you remember that your time is limited, and wasting it on negative thinking is a disservice to yourself. This isn't meant to be morbid or depressing, but rather a reminder to focus on what truly matters and let go of the things that don't. When you embrace this Stoic practice, you begin to live with a sense of urgency and purpose. You realize that every day is an opportunity to grow, to improve, and to break free from the mental chains that hold you back. By keeping your mortality in mind, you gain clarity on what's important and stop giving energy to the thoughts that drain your spirit. A final tool that Stoicism offers for overcoming negative thought patterns is the practice of preparation for adversity. The Stoics believed that by mentally preparing for challenges and difficulties, you could reduce their impact when they occur. This doesn't mean constantly worrying about what could go wrong, but rather acknowledging that hardship is a natural part of life and preparing your mind to face it with strength and resilience. When you regularly prepare yourself for adversity, negative thoughts lose their sting. You no longer fear the unknown or dread potential failure, because you've already accepted that challenges will come and you are ready to face them. This mindset transforms fear into courage and anxiety into confidence, allowing you to meet life's difficulties head-on without being overwhelmed by negativity. Stoicism provides a clear and actionable path to recognizing and challenging negative thought patterns. By practicing self-awareness, using reason to counter destructive thoughts, focusing on what you can control, and shifting your perspective, you gain the tools to break free from the mental cycles that hold you back. Through gratitude, acceptance, and preparation for adversity, you cultivate a mindset that is resilient, empowered, and ready to face whatever life throws your way. You are no longer a prisoner of your thoughts. You are the master of your mind, capable of shaping your reality with clarity, strength, and wisdom. The moment you recognize how much control your thoughts have over your reality is a moment of profound awakening. But recognition is only the beginning. There's a greater shift that must happen to truly break free from the chains of negativity. You must take full responsibility for your life. No one else can make that shift for you, and no external force will do it. It's on you. This is where the power of Stoicism becomes transformative. It gives you the tools not only to understand your thoughts, but to take full ownership of them. Taking responsibility is the ultimate act of empowerment, a radical decision to no longer be at the mercy of external events, other people's opinions, or circumstances beyond your control. In Stoicism, responsibility is not a burden, but a path to freedom. The moment you take responsibility for your life, everything changes. Instead of waiting for circumstances to improve, you begin to take action. Instead of blaming others or the world for your problems, you start looking inward for the solutions. This shift from external blame to internal accountability is the essence of Stoic philosophy. It is the moment you decide that regardless of what life throws at you, how you respond is entirely within your control. That is where your power lies. When you embrace responsibility, you stop giving away your power to others. How often do we find ourselves blaming people, situations, or even luck for our challenges? It's easy to fall into the mindset of, if only this hadn't happened, or if only they had acted differently. But in the Stoic view, such thinking only weakens you. The more you focus on external factors, the more you reinforce the belief that your happiness and success are at the mercy of others. The Stoics teach that this is a false narrative. The truth is, you have control over far more than you realize, and it starts with your mindset. Taking responsibility means acknowledging that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you choose to react. When you internalize this, you realize that you are never powerless. There is always something you can do, and often that begins with shifting your perspective. No matter how dire a situation may seem, Stoicism encourages you to focus on what is within your power to change. This focus on internal power is liberating because it means that your life is no longer at the whim of external forces. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of choice. Every day you make choices, some large, some small. These choices, more than any external event, shape the course of your life. Even in situations where you feel trapped or limited, there are always choices available. You may not be able to control your circumstances, but you can choose your attitude, your actions, and how you treat others. Embracing responsibility means becoming acutely aware of the choices you make each day and recognizing that these choices define your path. By making intentional, conscious decisions aligned with your values, you begin to take control of your life in a way that no external event can disrupt. Responsibility also brings clarity. When you take ownership of your life, you stop wasting energy on things that don't matter or that are beyond your influence. Think about how much time is spent worrying about things you can't change, whether it's someone else's behavior, the outcome of a situation, or the past. These are energy drains, pulling your focus away from what you can control and keeping you stuck in a cycle of frustration. By taking responsibility, you begin to prioritize what truly matters: your actions, your growth, and your ability to make a positive impact on your own life. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from responsibility. It might sound counterintuitive at first. How can taking responsibility make you free? But when you understand that freedom is about how you respond to life rather than what life hands you, it becomes clear. You are free when you stop blaming others, free when you stop being a victim of circumstances, free when you realize that the quality of your life depends on your choices and mindset, not on external events. This is the kind of freedom that Stoicism offers, one rooted in personal empowerment and self-discipline. Taking responsibility also transforms the way you approach challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, you start viewing them as opportunities for growth. The Stoic idea of amor fati, the love of fate, teaches that everything that happens, good or bad, is an opportunity to practice virtue and grow stronger. This doesn't mean you have to like every challenge or enjoy suffering, but it does mean embracing every experience as part of your journey. When you take responsibility for your reaction to challenges, you no longer feel like a victim of fate. You become the author of your own story, using every experience to become wiser, more resilient, and more capable. But responsibility also requires courage. It's not easy to look at your life and acknowledge where you've been holding yourself back. It takes courage to admit that you've been blaming others or waiting for things to improve on their own. Embracing responsibility means facing uncomfortable truths about your role in your current situation. It's about being honest with yourself about the choices you've made, the habits you've formed, and the ways in which you've allowed external factors to dictate your happiness. This kind of self-reflection can be difficult, but it's also incredibly empowering because it opens the door to real change. One of the most important lessons in Stoicism is the understanding that responsibility is not about perfection. It's not about always getting it right or never making mistakes. In fact, Stoicism teaches that mistakes are an essential part of growth. What matters is how you respond to those mistakes. Do you learn from them? Do you take responsibility for them, or do you blame others? Do you use them as opportunities to improve, or do you let them define you? When you embrace responsibility, you see mistakes not as failures, but as stepping stones on the path to mastery. Taking control of your life also means letting go of the need for external validation. The Stoics were clear on this point. True fulfillment comes from within, not from the approval of others. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop seeking validation from outside sources. You no longer need others to approve of your choices because you are confident in your own judgment. You no longer feel the pressure to conform to other people's expectations because you understand that your path is your own. This is a powerful shift because it frees you from the constant need to please others or seek their approval. Another key aspect of embracing responsibility in Stoicism is the practice of self-discipline. Taking control of your life requires more than just recognizing that you are responsible. It requires action. It means being disciplined in your thoughts, in your actions, and in how you approach each day. The Stoics believed that self-discipline was essential to living a virtuous life. This doesn't mean being rigid or harsh with yourself, but rather developing the habit of doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. Self-discipline is about consistently choosing what is right over what is easy. It's about setting goals and following through on them, even when motivation fades. It's about keeping your promises to yourself and others and living in alignment with your values. When you cultivate self-discipline, you build trust in yourself. You know that you can rely on yourself to handle whatever comes your way, and this builds confidence and inner strength. At the core of Stoicism is the idea that your thoughts shape your reality. Taking responsibility for your life means taking responsibility for your thoughts. It means recognizing when your thoughts are leading you down a path of negativity, fear, or doubt, and consciously choosing to redirect them. This doesn't mean ignoring difficult emotions or pretending everything is fine, but it does mean being mindful of how you think and what you focus on. By taking control of your thoughts, you take control of your emotional state and your experience of life. The Stoics also teach the importance of accepting responsibility for your impact on others. As you take control of your life, you begin to realize that your actions affect those around you and that you have a responsibility to contribute positively to the world. Stoicism emphasizes living in accordance with nature, which means recognizing that we are all interconnected. When you take responsibility for your life, you also take responsibility for how you treat others, how you contribute to your community, and how you show up in the world. This broader sense of responsibility creates a life of purpose and fulfillment. Responsibility is not just about achieving personal success, it's about living a life of meaning. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from living a life aligned with virtue, where you contribute to the greater good and live in harmony with the world around you. When you embrace responsibility, you stop living for yourself alone and start living with a sense of purpose that transcends your personal desires. This is where real fulfillment is found, in taking responsibility not just for your own well-being, but for the well-being of others and the world at large. In embracing responsibility, you also cultivate resilience. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and hardships, but when you take responsibility for how you respond to them, you become stronger. Instead of being knocked down by every difficulty, you learn to rise above it. You develop the inner strength to face adversity with grace and courage. Responsibility is not about avoiding challenges, it's about facing them head-on, knowing that you have the power to overcome them. Stoicism offers a path to taking full control of your life through the practice of responsibility. It teaches that by owning your thoughts, actions, and choices, you reclaim your power and begin to shape your reality. Responsibility is the key to freedom, clarity, and purpose. It requires courage, self-discipline, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths, but it also brings immense rewards. By embracing responsibility, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the author of your own life. You gain the strength to navigate life's challenges, the wisdom to make conscious choices, and the freedom to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. This is the Stoic path to empowerment, and it is available to anyone who is willing to take that first step toward responsibility. Taking responsibility for your life is a profound shift. It brings clarity, empowerment, and the realization that you are in control of your actions and thoughts. But there's another layer that Stoicism challenges us to confront: the attachments we cling to, which prevent us from fully embracing this newfound control. Whether it's material possessions, relationships, or the outcome of a situation, these attachments can become invisible chains, keeping you tethered to anxiety, fear, and suffering. The truth is, attachments, especially unhealthy ones, often keep you stuck in cycles of disappointment and frustration. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this: the practice of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean indifference or apathy. It's not about withdrawing from life or abandoning your responsibilities. Instead, Stoic detachment is about releasing the grip on things that you cannot control, things that often fuel emotional turmoil. It is about freeing yourself from the unnecessary suffering that comes when you are overly attached to outcomes, possessions, or people. The Stoics teach that when we let go of these unhealthy attachments, we gain peace, clarity, and the ability to live fully in the present. Unhealthy attachments take many forms. For some, it may be an attachment to material possessions, the constant striving for more, thinking that happiness lies in acquiring the next thing. But what happens when those things are lost, broken, or taken away? If your sense of self-worth or happiness is tied to what you own, it will always be fragile, always at risk. Stoicism encourages us to see material possessions as temporary and to practice indifference to them. This doesn't mean you don't value or enjoy the things you have, but rather that your sense of peace and happiness does not depend on them. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This highlights the freedom that comes from detachment. When you let go of the constant desire for more, you find that contentment is within your reach, regardless of your external circumstances. You no longer feel the need to chase after things to validate your worth or happiness. Instead, you cultivate an inner sense of fulfillment that is independent of external factors. Relationships can also be a source of unhealthy attachment. It's natural to care deeply about the people in your life, but when you become overly attached, you begin to place your happiness and well-being in their hands. This creates a fragile situation where the actions, words, or presence of another person can dictate your emotional state. Stoicism teaches that while we can love and care for others, we must also recognize that they are individuals with their own lives and choices we cannot control. This doesn't mean withdrawing from relationships or becoming emotionally distant. It means acknowledging that your happiness cannot depend on someone else's behavior, approval, or presence. By detaching from the need to control others or seek validation from them, you create healthier relationships based on mutual respect and understanding, rather than neediness or dependence. You give people the freedom to be themselves, and in doing so, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster that comes with trying to control or cling to others. One of the most difficult forms of attachment to confront is the attachment to outcomes. We often become fixated on how we want things to turn out, whether it's a career goal, a personal achievement, or even the resolution of a conflict. But the reality is that we cannot control the outcome of every situation. When you attach your sense of self-worth or success to achieving a particular result, you set yourself up for disappointment and frustration if things don't go as planned. Stoicism teaches that the only thing you can control is the effort you put in, not the result. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often reflected on this idea in his writings. He emphasized the importance of focusing on the present moment and doing the best you can with what's within your control, rather than obsessing over the future or the final outcome. This shift in mindset brings a profound sense of relief and freedom. When you are no longer attached to a specific outcome, you can approach challenges with a calm, focused mind, knowing that success or failure doesn't define you. It's your effort and integrity that matter. Detaching from unhealthy attachments also allows you to embrace life's unpredictability with greater ease. One of the reasons attachments cause so much suffering is that they create a false sense of control. We believe that by holding on tightly to things, whether it's people, possessions, or plans, we can somehow guarantee their permanence. But life is inherently unpredictable. Things change, people change, and circumstances evolve. By practicing detachment, you learn to flow with these changes rather than resist them. You stop fighting against the natural course of life and start accepting it as it is, which brings a deep sense of peace. One of the practices that the Stoics used to cultivate detachment was negative visualization. This involves reflecting on the impermanence of things you hold dear, not as a way to induce fear or sadness, but as a way to appreciate them fully in the present moment. By imagining the loss of something, a loved one, a prized possession, or a cherished goal, you prepare your mind to face that possibility with acceptance. This practice doesn't make you love or value those things any less. In fact, it deepens your appreciation for them because you recognize their impermanence. Negative visualization helps you develop a mindset where you can enjoy and appreciate what you have without clinging to it. When you no longer fear the loss of something, you can engage with it more fully and with less anxiety. This doesn't mean expecting or wishing for loss, but rather understanding that everything in life is temporary, and the more you accept this, the freer you become from unhealthy attachments. Another way that Stoicism helps you detach from unhealthy attachments is through the practice of self-sufficiency. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from within, not from external sources. When you rely on external things, whether it's material wealth, the approval of others, or the achievement of specific goals, you place your happiness outside of your control. But when you cultivate self-sufficiency, you realize that your happiness is not dependent on external circumstances. You become less vulnerable to the ups and downs of life because you've developed an inner resilience that cannot be shaken by changes in the outside world. Self-sufficiency doesn't mean isolating yourself or living without support. It means developing a strong sense of inner peace and contentment that is not easily disturbed by external events. When you cultivate this inner strength, you are better able to face challenges, disappointments, and changes without being thrown off balance. You realize that while external things can enhance your life, they are not the source of your happiness or self-worth. Another key aspect of detachment in Stoicism is letting go of the need for control. Many of us spend a great deal of time and energy trying to control the people and circumstances around us. Whether it's trying to manage how others perceive us, ensuring that our plans go perfectly, or avoiding any uncertainty, this need for control can create immense stress and frustration. Stoicism teaches that control is an illusion. No matter how hard you try, you cannot control everything, and the more you attempt to, the more you suffer. Detaching from the need for control allows you to approach life with a sense of openness and acceptance. You begin to trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, rather than needing everything to go according to plan. This shift brings a sense of freedom because you are no longer bound by the pressure to make everything perfect. You realize that perfection is unattainable, and life's unpredictability is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Detachment also involves letting go of past hurts and grievances. It's easy to become attached to the pain of the past, holding on to it as a way to justify our current state or avoid moving forward. But this attachment only keeps you stuck in cycles of resentment and bitterness. Stoicism encourages you to let go of these attachments by practicing forgiveness, not necessarily for others, but for your own peace of mind. By releasing the emotional attachment to past wrongs, you free yourself from the burden of carrying that pain with you into the present. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior or forgetting what happened. It means acknowledging that the past cannot be changed and choosing not to let it control your present. When you forgive, you detach from the emotional weight of the past and open yourself up to the possibility of healing and growth. This practice of letting go is essential to freeing yourself from unhealthy attachments, whether they are related to people, situations, or emotions. The Stoic approach to detachment is ultimately about reclaiming your power. Unhealthy attachments often stem from the belief that we need something external to complete us or make us whole. Whether it's a person, a possession, or a particular outcome, we often think that if we can just hold on to it, we will find happiness or security. But Stoicism teaches that true power and peace come from within, not from external sources. When you detach from unhealthy attachments, you reclaim your inner strength and realize that you are already whole. Breaking free from these attachments is not about living a life without desire or passion. It's about finding balance. It's about caring deeply for the people and things in your life, while also understanding that their presence is not guaranteed. It's about enjoying life's experiences without clinging to them, knowing that everything is temporary. This balance allows you to live more fully, with less fear and anxiety, because you are no longer trying to control what is beyond your reach. In the end, detachment is about freedom. Freedom from the emotional and mental chains that come from clinging to things outside of your control. Stoicism offers a path to this freedom by helping you recognize where your attachments lie and guiding you in the process of letting go. When you practice detachment, you create space for inner peace, resilience, and the ability to navigate life's changes with grace and strength. You stop being a prisoner to your desires, fears, and expectations, and start living with a sense of ease and clarity. This is the power of Stoic detachment, breaking free from unhealthy attachments and discovering the true freedom that comes from within. Detaching from unhealthy attachments brings a sense of freedom, clarity, and lightness to your life. But once you've released those chains, what comes next? The answer lies in presence, being fully aware and engaged in the moment. After all, what good is freedom if you're not present enough to experience it? Stoicism encourages a deep, mindful presence that allows you to connect with life as it unfolds, without getting lost in the worries of the past or anxieties about the future. It's about truly living your life, not just going through the motions or letting your mind wander elsewhere while the present moment slips by unnoticed. Mindful presence is a practice that asks you to stop running on autopilot and start paying attention to what's happening right here, right now. In Stoic philosophy, this is a fundamental principle. Life is unpredictable and ever-changing, and the only certainty you have is this moment. The past is gone, the future isn't here yet, and what you do have, what you can shape and influence, is what's happening in this very second. Stoicism teaches that embracing the present moment with full awareness is the key to living a life of purpose and peace. When you live in the moment, you free yourself from the heavy burden of past mistakes or future worries. Too often, people carry the weight of the past on their shoulders, replaying events and conversations in their minds, wondering how things could have gone differently. But Stoicism reminds us that the past is beyond our control. It cannot be changed or undone, no matter how much we dwell on it. What matters is how you respond in the present, how you move forward from this moment onward. Living in the past is not only unproductive, it robs you of the chance to engage fully with the present. Likewise, getting caught up in anxieties about the future only brings unnecessary stress. While it's natural to think about what lies ahead, constantly worrying about things that haven't happened yet keeps you from experiencing life as it is happening right now. Stoicism encourages you to prepare for the future, but not at the expense of your present peace of mind. The future is uncertain, and no amount of worry will change that. What you can control is your current state of mind, your actions, and how you choose to engage with the world today. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often reflected on the importance of being fully present. In his personal writings, he urged himself to waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. This speaks to the power of action in the present. Instead of overthinking or procrastinating, Stoicism encourages you to act with purpose in the here and now. When you focus on the present, you stop delaying your life. You stop waiting for the perfect moment or ideal circumstances and start making the most of what you have in front of you. One of the reasons why practicing mindful presence is so powerful is that it allows you to engage more deeply with life's simple pleasures. Often, people become so wrapped up in their thoughts that they miss the beauty of the world around them, the warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter, the taste of a meal. Stoicism teaches that these moments of joy are available to you every day if you are present enough to notice them. Life's greatest pleasures are often found in the small, ordinary moments that are too easily overlooked when your mind is somewhere else. Being present also enhances your relationships with others. When you practice mindful presence, you are able to give your full attention to the people around you. How many times have you found yourself in a conversation only half listening while your mind races elsewhere? Stoicism teaches that true presence means fully listening, fully engaging, and fully being with the person in front of you. This creates deeper connections and more meaningful relationships because people feel heard, valued, and respected when you are truly present with them. Practicing mindful presence also helps you manage your emotional reactions. In moments of anger, frustration, or anxiety, it's easy to get swept away by the intensity of your emotions. But Stoicism teaches that by grounding yourself in the present, you can regain control over your emotional state. Instead of reacting impulsively or letting emotions dictate your actions, mindful presence allows you to pause, breathe, and choose your response. This pause is a powerful tool. It gives you the space to act with intention rather than out of emotional reflex. One of the most valuable lessons that Stoicism offers about living in the moment is the idea of accepting things as they are. Life will not always go according to plan, and circumstances will not always be in your favor. But when you practice mindful presence, you learn to accept what is happening right now without resistance. This doesn't mean giving up or resigning yourself to a situation. It means acknowledging reality as it is and then deciding how to respond to it. Resistance to the present moment only creates suffering. Acceptance, on the other hand, allows you to move forward with clarity and peace. Another aspect of mindful presence in Stoicism is the practice of gratitude. Being present allows you to recognize and appreciate the things in your life that you may otherwise take for granted. Gratitude isn't about ignoring life's difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging the good that exists alongside the challenges. By being fully present, you are more likely to notice and appreciate the small moments of happiness, the acts of kindness, and the opportunities for growth that might otherwise go unnoticed. Mindful presence also deepens your sense of purpose. When you live in the moment, you become more aware of the impact of your actions and decisions. You start to see how each choice you make contributes to the bigger picture of your life. This awareness helps you align your actions with your values, making it easier to live a life of integrity and meaning. Instead of drifting through life on autopilot, mindful presence brings intention to everything you do. Another important aspect of mindful presence is the practice of pausing before reacting. So often, people respond to situations out of habit or reflex, without taking the time to consider their actions. Stoicism encourages you to pause, even for a moment, to reflect on what is happening and how you want to respond. This pause gives you the opportunity to choose a response that aligns with your values, rather than reacting out of impulse or emotion. Over time, this practice of pausing becomes second nature, helping you approach life with more patience, wisdom, and clarity. In addition to enhancing your relationships and emotional well-being, practicing mindful presence can also improve your productivity and focus. When your mind is scattered, constantly shifting between past regrets and future worries, it's difficult to concentrate fully on the task at hand. But when you bring your full attention to the present moment, you are able to work more efficiently and effectively. You stop multitasking and start focusing on one thing at a time, giving it your full energy and attention. This leads to better results and a greater sense of accomplishment. Stoicism also teaches that living in the moment allows you to cultivate resilience in the face of adversity. When challenges arise, it's easy to get lost in thoughts of what if or why me. But by grounding yourself in the present, you can focus on what needs to be done right now to move forward. Instead of getting overwhelmed by the magnitude of a problem, you can break it down into smaller, manageable steps that you can address one by one. This focus on the present helps you stay calm, clear-headed, and resilient, even in difficult situations. One of the most profound aspects of practicing mindful presence is that it brings a sense of peace and contentment. When you stop worrying about the future or dwelling on the past, you free yourself from much of the stress and anxiety that weighs you down. By living fully in the present, you begin to experience a deep sense of peace, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what needs to be done. This sense of peace isn't dependent on external circumstances. It comes from within, from your ability to be present and engaged in each moment. Living in the moment also helps you develop a greater sense of self-awareness. When you are present, you become more attuned to your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. You begin to notice how certain thoughts trigger emotional reactions and how those emotions affect your behavior. This awareness allows you to make more conscious choices about how you want to think, feel, and act. Over time, this practice of self-awareness leads to greater emotional intelligence and personal growth. Ultimately, practicing mindful presence is about embracing the fullness of life. It's about being awake and aware of the beauty, the challenges, and the opportunities that exist in every moment. Stoicism teaches that life is not something to be endured or rushed through. It is something to be experienced deeply and fully. By practicing mindful presence, you open yourself up to the richness of life, no matter what circumstances you find yourself in. Practicing mindful presence is a core tenet of Stoicism that encourages living fully in the moment, free from the distractions of past regrets and future anxieties. It enhances your relationships, improves your emotional well-being, and brings a sense of peace and clarity to your life. By focusing on the present, you are able to engage more deeply with life, make more intentional choices, and experience a greater sense of purpose and fulfillment. The practice of mindful presence grounds you in the moment, allowing you to experience life with clarity and intention. But what happens when life throws its inevitable challenges your way? How do you maintain that sense of presence when difficulties arise or when the world seems to be against you? This is where the power of Stoic resilience comes into play, especially when it comes to overcoming the mindset that so easily takes root in times of hardship, the victim mentality. While adversity is a given in life, the way you respond to it defines whether you feel trapped by it or empowered through it. Victim mentality is a mindset that subtly creeps in, convincing you that the world is out to get you, that circumstances have stacked the odds against you, and that you are powerless in the face of it all. It's a mentality that whispers, "Why me?" when things go wrong, placing the blame on external forces and leaving you feeling helpless. Stoicism, however, offers a path out of this mental trap. Through Stoic practices, you can shift from seeing yourself as a victim of life's challenges to becoming a person who rises above them with resilience and strength. The first step in overcoming victim mentality is recognizing that you always have a choice. While it's true that you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you respond. This concept is central to Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that while external events are beyond our influence, our internal world, our thoughts, reactions, and attitudes, is entirely within our power. When you embrace this idea, you take the first step toward reclaiming your sense of agency. You begin to see that, even in the face of hardship, you are not powerless. You are in control of your thoughts and how you choose to interpret the events in your life. Victim mentality thrives on the belief that circumstances are responsible for your suffering. It's easy to fall into the trap of blaming external events, whether it's a difficult situation at work, a strained relationship, or an unexpected setback. But Stoicism teaches that the real source of suffering is not the event itself, but your perception of it. When you view life's challenges as personal attacks or unfair obstacles, you give them power over your emotional state. But when you shift your mindset and see challenges as opportunities for growth, the suffering lessens. The situation hasn't changed, but your perception of it has, and that makes all the difference. One of the key ways Stoicism helps you overcome victim mentality is by encouraging you to focus on what is within your control. When faced with a difficult situation, it's natural to want to control the outcome or fix the problem immediately. But often, the things that cause us the most stress are beyond our ability to control. Stoicism teaches that by shifting your focus to what you can control, your actions, your mindset, and your attitude, you regain a sense of power. You stop wasting energy on things that are outside your influence and start directing your attention to what you can actually change. This shift not only reduces feelings of helplessness, but also empowers you to take meaningful action in your life. Stoic resilience is built on the idea that adversity is not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced. The Stoics believed that life's challenges are what shape you into a stronger, more capable person. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances, Stoicism encourages you to see yourself as a person who is being tested and strengthened by them. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to practice resilience, courage, and wisdom. This shift in perspective transforms difficulties from something to dread into something that can serve your growth. The Stoics often spoke about the concept of amor fati, the love of fate. This idea teaches that instead of resisting what happens to you, you should embrace it as necessary for your development. This doesn't mean you have to enjoy suffering or hardship, but it does mean accepting that everything that happens is part of your journey. When you stop fighting against reality and start embracing it, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil that comes with wishing things were different. You begin to see that even the most difficult experiences are part of what shapes you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient person. Victim mentality often arises when you feel that life is unfair or that you've been dealt an unfair hand. But Stoicism teaches that fairness is not something you can expect from life. The universe doesn't operate on principles of fairness. It operates according to its own natural laws, and those laws don't always align with our expectations. Stoicism encourages you to let go of the idea that life should be fair and instead focus on how you can respond to whatever life throws your way. When you release the need for fairness, you stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start taking responsibility for how you move forward. A core principle of Stoicism is the idea of taking ownership of your life. When you embrace this mindset, you stop waiting for others to fix your problems or for circumstances to change on their own. You take full responsibility for your actions, your thoughts, and your emotional state. This doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong, but it does mean recognizing that you have the power to choose how you respond. When you take ownership of your life, you stop seeing yourself as a passive participant and start becoming an active creator of your own destiny. Victim mentality also feeds on a sense of entitlement, the belief that you deserve certain things or that life owes you something. This entitlement can lead to frustration and disappointment when things don't go your way. Stoicism teaches that life doesn't owe you anything, and that expecting things to go perfectly is a recipe for unhappiness. Instead of feeling entitled to a particular outcome, Stoicism encourages you to focus on doing your best in each moment, regardless of the outcome. By letting go of entitlement, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster that comes with unmet expectations and begin to find peace in the process. not the result. Another way that Stoicism helps overcome victim mentality is through the practice of self-reflection. The Stoics placed great importance on regularly examining their thoughts, actions, and emotions. This practice helps you become more aware of when you're slipping into a victim mindset. By reflecting on your reactions to events, you can identify patterns of thinking that keep you stuck in feelings of helplessness. This self-awareness is the first step toward breaking free from those patterns and cultivating a more resilient mindset. Self-reflection also allows you to see where you might be avoiding responsibility. Victim mentality often arises when you shift blame onto others or external circumstances. But through self-reflection, you begin to see where you have the power to make different choices. This isn't about blaming yourself for everything. It's about recognizing where you can take action to improve your situation. When you take responsibility for your own growth and well-being, you stop feeling like a victim of life's challenges and start seeing yourself as capable of overcoming them. Stoic resilience also involves cultivating a sense of gratitude. It's easy to focus on what's wrong or what's missing in your life, but Stoicism encourages you to focus on what's right. By practicing gratitude, you shift your attention away from feelings of lack and toward a sense of abundance. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring life's difficulties, but it does mean acknowledging the good that exists alongside the challenges. When you cultivate gratitude, you begin to see that even in the midst of hardship, there is still much to be thankful for. This shift in perspective helps you break free from the victim mindset and embrace a more empowered way of thinking. Another important aspect of Stoic resilience is the practice of perseverance. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way, but the Stoics believed that the key to overcoming them is persistence. When you view yourself as a victim, it's easy to give up when things get tough. But Stoicism teaches that resilience comes from pushing forward, even when the path is difficult. Every step you take toward overcoming a challenge, no matter how small, builds your strength and confidence. Perseverance is not about ignoring difficulties. It's about facing them head-on with determination and resilience. Stoicism also teaches the importance of fortitude in overcoming victim mentality. Fortitude is the strength to endure hardships with courage and grace. It's the inner resolve to keep going, even when circumstances are tough. When you cultivate fortitude, you stop seeing yourself as someone who is defeated by challenges and start seeing yourself as someone who rises above them. Fortitude is about staying grounded in your principles and values, no matter what life throws your way. It's about maintaining your integrity and strength, even in the face of adversity. Stoicism encourages you to develop a mindset of indifference to things beyond your control. This doesn't mean apathy or a lack of care, but rather a recognition that external events do not determine your worth or happiness. When you practice indifference to things outside your control, you stop being emotionally invested in outcomes that you cannot influence. This mindset helps you maintain a sense of inner peace, even when circumstances are difficult. By focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and attitudes, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil that comes with trying to control the uncontrollable. Overcoming victim mentality also involves shifting your focus from what's happening to you to what you can do about it. When you're stuck in a victim mindset, it's easy to get caught up in the narrative of how life is unfair or how things aren't going your way. But Stoicism teaches that the most important question is not "why is this happening?" but "what can I do in response?" This shift in focus empowers you to take action, even in the face of difficult circumstances. It reminds you that while you may not have control over what happens to you, you always have control over how you choose to respond. Stoicism offers a powerful framework for overcoming victim mentality and cultivating resilience. By focusing on what is within your control, embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, and taking ownership of your life, you can break free from the mindset of helplessness and step into a place of empowerment. Through practices like self-reflection, gratitude, perseverance, and fortitude, you build the inner strength needed to face life's difficulties with courage and grace. The Stoic path is not about avoiding hardship, but about developing the resilience to rise above it and live a life of purpose and integrity. Empowering yourself with Stoic resilience is a transformative process, one that shifts your perspective from victimhood to mastery over your thoughts and emotions. But even with this newfound strength, one of the greatest challenges remains: how to let go of the anxiety and fear that can still creep into your mind. Even the most resilient person faces moments of uncertainty, where worries about the future or concerns about things beyond control take hold. This is where the Stoic path becomes even more powerful, offering techniques not just to survive in the face of anxiety and fear, but to cultivate a deep sense of inner peace, even amidst chaos. Stoicism teaches that inner peace isn't found in a world free of challenges, but in a mind that has learned to remain calm despite them. Life will always present situations that can trigger anxiety and fear, whether it's concern about your career, health, relationships, or the unpredictable nature of life itself. But Stoicism provides practical tools to help you navigate these emotions, allowing you to experience peace even in the face of life's uncertainties. These techniques don't remove the difficulties from life. They change the way you engage with them, empowering you to let go of the anxieties that cloud your mind. One of the first principles Stoicism teaches is understanding the nature of control. Anxiety often stems from trying to control things that are inherently uncontrollable. You might worry about the outcome of a situation, fearing the worst-case scenario, but no matter how much energy you put into these thoughts, the future remains uncertain. The Stoics emphasize the importance of recognizing what is within your control, your actions, your thoughts, and your decisions, and letting go of what is outside of your influence. When you realize that you cannot control external events or outcomes, a sense of freedom begins to emerge. You are no longer weighed down by the anxiety of trying to manage things that are beyond your reach. This understanding of control is at the heart of letting go of fear as well. Fear often arises from the anticipation of something negative happening, whether it's fear of failure, loss, or disappointment. But when you focus on what you can control, you strip fear of its power. Instead of being paralyzed by the unknown, you take action where you can and release the rest. This doesn't mean pretending that fear doesn't exist or ignoring it. Instead, it's about accepting fear for what it is, a natural response to uncertainty, and choosing not to let it dominate your thoughts or actions. The Stoics also teach the importance of living in the present moment, something that directly counters both anxiety and fear. Anxiety thrives when your mind is consumed with the future, what might happen, what could go wrong, or what you're not prepared for. Fear is often a projection of future pain or discomfort. But when you anchor yourself in the present, you realize that many of the things you fear haven't even happened yet and may never happen at all. Stoicism encourages you to focus on the now, to bring your attention back to the current moment where you actually have power to act. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, often reflected on the importance of staying grounded in the present. He reminded himself, and us through his writings, that worrying about the future or regretting the past only takes you away from what is real and what you can influence. By cultivating this mindful presence, you not only reduce the grip of anxiety and fear, but you also allow yourself to engage fully with life as it is happening. Another powerful Stoic technique for letting go of anxiety and fear is negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum. This involves mentally preparing yourself for the worst-case scenario, not as a way to create more anxiety, but to help you confront your fears head-on. By imagining what could go wrong, you strip the unknown of its power. You begin to realize that even in the worst-case scenario, you have the strength to endure it. When you face your fears directly in this way, they often lose their hold over you. The unknown is no longer something to dread, but something you've already prepared yourself to handle. Negative visualization also helps you cultivate gratitude for what you have in the present. By considering what life would be like without certain comforts or securities, you begin to appreciate them more deeply. This doesn't mean living in constant fear of loss, but rather developing a greater sense of appreciation for the present while acknowledging that nothing in life is permanent. When you let go of the need for things to remain the same or for the future to unfold exactly as you want, you begin to experience a sense of peace that is unshaken by life's inevitable changes. Stoicism also emphasizes the concept of acceptance, accepting that life will not always go according to plan, that hardships will arise, and that uncertainty is a natural part of existence. This acceptance is not about passivity or resignation. It's about understanding that resistance to reality only creates more suffering. When you accept that certain things are beyond your control, you stop wasting energy fighting against them. Instead, you can focus on what is within your power to change and let go of the rest. This acceptance brings a deep sense of inner peace because it allows you to stop struggling against the inevitable and instead embrace life as it unfolds. A related Stoic practice is amor fati, or the love of fate. This principle encourages you to not only accept what happens, but to embrace it as necessary for your growth. When you love your fate, you stop viewing life's challenges as burdens and start seeing them as opportunities to develop your inner strength and resilience. This shift in mindset helps you let go of anxiety and fear because you no longer view difficulties as something to avoid. Instead, you see them as part of the journey, something that is shaping you into a stronger, wiser person. Stoicism also teaches the importance of rationality in managing anxiety and fear. Often, these emotions arise from irrational thinking or distorted perceptions. For example, you might blow a small problem out of proportion, convincing yourself that it's a disaster waiting to happen. Or you might catastrophize, imagining the worst possible outcome without considering more likely, less dramatic possibilities. Stoicism encourages you to challenge these irrational thoughts with reason. Ask yourself, is this fear based on reality, or am I creating unnecessary stress by imagining the worst? By questioning the validity of your fears, you can often diffuse their intensity and see the situation more clearly. This rational approach also extends to understanding that emotions, like anxiety and fear, are temporary. The Stoics believed that emotions are fleeting and that by observing them without getting swept away, you can regain control over your state of mind. Instead of letting fear dictate your actions, you can acknowledge it, observe it, and then choose a more measured response. This emotional awareness allows you to remain calm even when fear or anxiety arises, because you know that these emotions will pass. Another technique the Stoics used to cultivate inner peace was the practice of self-discipline. Anxiety and fear often arise when you feel unprepared or when you lack confidence in your ability to handle a situation. But by practicing self-discipline, you build the mental and emotional strength needed to face life's challenges. Self-discipline is about consistently doing the things that contribute to your growth and well-being, even when they are difficult. Whether it's maintaining a daily routine, setting goals, or staying true to your principles, Self-discipline gives you the confidence that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. This confidence, in turn, helps to reduce anxiety and fear. Stoicism also teaches the importance of keeping your perspective in check. Often, anxiety and fear take hold when you lose sight of the bigger picture. You might become overly focused on a single problem, allowing it to consume your thoughts and emotions. But Stoicism encourages you to zoom out and see the situation in a broader context. Ask yourself, will this matter a year from now, 5 years from now? By gaining perspective, you often realize that the things causing you anxiety are not as significant as they seem in the moment. This shift in perspective helps you maintain a sense of calm and balance, even in the face of challenges. A final Stoic technique for cultivating inner peace is the practice of gratitude. When anxiety and fear take over, it's easy to focus on what's wrong, what's missing, or what could go wrong in the future. But by practicing gratitude, you shift your attention to what is right in your life. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment and reminds you of the abundance that already exists. It helps to counterbalance the negativity of anxiety and fear by reminding you of the good that is already present. This practice doesn't eliminate challenges, but it helps you approach them with a more balanced, peaceful mindset. Stoicism offers a comprehensive approach to letting go of anxiety and fear through practical techniques that help cultivate inner peace. By focusing on what is within your control, practicing acceptance, embracing the present, and using reason to challenge irrational fears, you can develop a mindset that is calm, resilient, and grounded in the face of life's uncertainties. These Stoic techniques empower you to not only reduce anxiety and fear, but to build an inner peace that endures even when life presents its greatest challenges. Letting go of anxiety and fear through Stoic techniques brings a sense of calm and control over your life. But there is another fundamental Stoic principle that underpins all of these practices: focusing on what you can control. This idea serves as the foundation for Stoic wisdom, a strategy that allows you to break the cycles of frustration, disappointment, and anxiety that often dominate life. By narrowing your focus to what is truly within your power, you not only free yourself from the mental chaos caused by uncontrollable external events, but also gain the clarity and energy to take meaningful action where it matters most. This concept seems simple, but the shift it creates in your life is profound. Too often, people get caught up in things beyond their control, worrying about how others will react, fearing outcomes they can't predict, or trying to change circumstances that simply can't be altered. This creates a cycle of anxiety and frustration because the focus is on things that no amount of effort or worry can influence. Stoicism teaches that real peace comes when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable and start directing your energy toward the things you can truly influence: your thoughts, your actions, and your responses. One of the first areas where this focus on control becomes crucial is in how you respond to external events. The Stoics often said that while you cannot control what happens to you, you can always control how you respond to it. This shift in focus is transformative because it takes your attention away from external circumstances and redirects it inward to your own thoughts and behaviors. When you focus on how you respond, you regain a sense of power and agency in situations where you might otherwise feel helpless. You realize that, regardless of the situation, you always have a choice in how you think about it and how you act moving forward. This focus on control also helps to reduce emotional reactivity. Often, people respond to difficult situations with strong emotions, anger, frustration, or sadness, because they feel that the situation is unfair or beyond their control. But Stoicism teaches that emotions are often triggered by our perception of an event, not the event itself. By shifting your focus to what you can control, your perception and reaction, you can begin to manage your emotional responses more effectively. Instead of being swept away by emotions, you create space to respond calmly and rationally, focusing on actions that are within your control. In Stoicism, one of the key tools for managing your emotions and responses is rationality. When you focus on what you can control, you engage the rational part of your mind, which allows you to step back from emotional reactions and consider the situation objectively. This doesn't mean ignoring your emotions, but rather using your reason to guide your actions in a way that aligns with your values. When you focus on the aspects of a situation that are within your control, your mind naturally becomes more centered and composed, enabling you to make decisions from a place of clarity rather than emotional turmoil. Another important aspect of focusing on what you can control is how it helps break the cycle of worry. Worrying is often the result of fixating on things that might happen in the future, events that are out of your control or have not yet come to pass. But Stoicism teaches that by focusing on what you can do in the present moment, you can significantly reduce worry. When you direct your attention to what actions you can take right now, worry about the future diminishes because you are no longer lost in hypotheticals. You are taking concrete steps in the present, which brings a sense of empowerment and calm. Shifting your focus to what you can control also frees you from the trap of seeking approval from others. Many people spend a great deal of time and energy trying to manage how others perceive them, constantly adjusting their behavior to gain approval or avoid criticism. This creates a cycle of anxiety because you cannot control how others think or feel. Stoicism teaches that the opinions of others are outside your control, and focusing on them only leads to frustration. By letting go of the need for external validation and focusing on living according to your own principles, you break free from this cycle. You stop chasing approval and start living authentically, with a deep sense of peace and self-respect. In relationships, this shift in focus can also lead to healthier dynamics. When you try to control how others behave or respond, you create tension and conflict. But by focusing on what you can control, your own actions, words, and attitude, you create space for more authentic connections. You realize that you cannot change or control another person's feelings or behavior, but you can choose how you engage with them. This shift not only reduces conflict, but also helps you to maintain a sense of peace in relationships, knowing that you are responsible for your own behavior and not for managing someone else's. One of the most liberating aspects of focusing on what you can control is that it allows you to let go of perfectionism. Many people get caught in the cycle of trying to make everything perfect, whether it's their work, relationships, or personal goals, believing that if they can just control every detail, they will achieve success or happiness. But perfectionism is an illusion. No matter how much effort you put into controlling every aspect of a situation, there will always be things outside your control that can impact the outcome. Stoicism teaches that by focusing on doing your best, rather than trying to achieve a perfect result, you break free from the anxiety of perfectionism. You accept that while you can control your actions and effort, the outcome is not entirely within your hands, and that's okay. Focusing on what you can control also helps you develop resilience. Life is unpredictable, and setbacks are inevitable. But when you focus on your own responses and actions, rather than the external events themselves, you build a sense of inner strength. You stop seeing setbacks as insurmountable obstacles and start viewing them as opportunities to learn and grow. This mindset shift is crucial for resilience because it allows you to stay grounded and steady, even in the face of difficulties. You stop being thrown off course by every challenge and instead focus on what you can do to navigate through it. Another area where this focus becomes essential is in handling failure. Failure is often seen as something to avoid at all costs, and many people fear it because it feels like a loss of control. But Stoicism teaches that failure is not something to fear. It's simply an outcome, one that doesn't define you. When you shift your focus to what you can control, your effort, your learning process, and your attitude, you begin to see failure differently. Instead of being a source of shame or fear, it becomes part of the journey. You understand that failure is outside your control, but how you respond to it is entirely within your power. This mindset not only reduces fear of failure, but also empowers you to take risks and pursue your goals without being paralyzed by the possibility of things not going perfectly. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of focusing on personal growth rather than external success. Many people measure their worth by external markers of success: money, status, recognition. But these things are often outside of your control. The Stoics teach that true success is found in how you live your life, how you grow as a person, and how you align your actions with your values. When you shift your focus from external success to internal growth, you break free from the pressure of constantly striving for things that may never be fully within your grasp. You begin to focus on becoming the best version of yourself, regardless of the external outcomes, and this brings a deep sense of fulfillment and peace. Focusing on what you can control also helps to create a sense of purpose. When your attention is scattered, constantly pulled in different directions by things outside of your influence, it's easy to feel lost or directionless. But when you narrow your focus to the things you can control, you start to see where you can make a difference. You begin to set goals that align with your values and take actions that contribute to your personal and professional growth. This focus on what you can control gives you a clear sense of purpose and direction, helping you to stay grounded even in times of uncertainty. In addition, this Stoic principle helps you manage expectations. Expectations often lead to disappointment when reality doesn't align with what you hoped for. But Stoicism teaches that by focusing on your own actions and letting go of the need for a specific outcome, you can reduce the disappointment that comes from unmet expectations. When you focus on what you can control, you understand that the outcome is not guaranteed, but your effort and integrity are. This helps you stay committed to your goals without being overly attached to the result, which brings a sense of peace and satisfaction regardless of the outcome. The Stoic focus on control also encourages a more mindful way of living. When you are constantly trying to manage things outside your control, you often miss the present moment, consumed by worries about the future or regrets about the past. But when you focus on what is within your control, you naturally bring your attention back to the present, to what you can do right now. This mindfulness not only reduces anxiety, but also allows you to fully engage with life as it happens, creating deeper connections and more meaningful experiences. The Stoic strategy of focusing on what you can control is a key tool for breaking the cycles of frustration, anxiety, and helplessness that so often dominate life. By shifting your attention to your own thoughts, actions, and responses, you reclaim your sense of power and agency. This focus helps you manage your emotions, reduce worry, build resilience, and find peace in the present moment. It frees you from the need for external validation, perfectionism, and control over things beyond your reach. Ultimately, it allows you to live a life of greater clarity, purpose, and fulfillment, no longer trapped by the uncontrollable, but fully engaged with what you can influence. Shifting your focus to what you can control is a powerful way to regain clarity and purpose in life. But inevitably, there will be moments when adversity strikes, and despite your best efforts, things will seem beyond your control. How you handle those challenges is what ultimately shapes your growth. Stoicism doesn't just teach you to endure adversity, it shows you how to transform it into something beneficial. Adversity, through the lens of Stoic wisdom, becomes more than just a hardship. It becomes a chance to develop resilience, strength, and wisdom. Adversity is unavoidable. Whether it comes in the form of personal loss, financial hardship, or setbacks in your career, life is filled with challenges that test your limits. The natural instinct when faced with these challenges is often to resist, to fight against the situation, or to feel victimized by circumstances. But Stoicism offers a radically different approach. Instead of viewing adversity as something to fear or avoid, Stoic wisdom teaches you to embrace it, recognizing that it is an essential part of personal growth. Adversity becomes the crucible in which your character is tested and strengthened. The first step in transforming adversity into a growth opportunity is changing how you perceive it. The Stoics believed that events themselves are neither good nor bad. It is your judgment of those events that determines how you experience them. When something difficult happens, your initial reaction might be frustration, anger, or sadness, because you judge the event as a negative one. But if you step back and examine the situation through a Stoic lens, you begin to see that the event itself is neutral. It is simply a challenge, and how you respond to it determines whether it becomes an obstacle or an opportunity. This shift in perception is not about ignoring the difficulties you face or pretending that everything is fine. It's about reframing the situation in a way that empowers you. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What can I learn from this?" This change in mindset transforms adversity from something that holds you back into something that pushes you forward. The challenge becomes a teacher, guiding you toward greater wisdom and strength. In Stoic philosophy, adversity is seen as a necessary part of life because it provides the opportunity to practice virtue. The Stoics believed that virtues like courage, patience, and resilience are not just abstract ideals. They are practical tools that help you navigate life's challenges. But these virtues can only be developed in the face of difficulty. You cannot become more patient if you are never tested by frustration. You cannot become more courageous if you never face fear. Adversity, therefore, is essential for growth because it gives you the opportunity to cultivate these virtues. When you encounter adversity, Stoicism encourages you to see it as a chance to practice resilience. Resilience is not about ignoring pain or pretending that you are unaffected by hardship. It's about recognizing that while you cannot always control what happens, you can control how you respond. Resilience comes from understanding that adversity is temporary and that you have the inner strength to endure it. Each time you face a challenge and respond with resilience, you grow stronger. You begin to trust in your ability to handle difficult situations, which gives you confidence and inner peace. One of the most powerful aspects of Stoicism is its emphasis on acceptance. This does not mean passive resignation to circumstances, but rather an acknowledgement of reality as it is. When you resist adversity, when you fight against the fact that things are not going the way you want, you create unnecessary suffering. By accepting the situation for what it is, you free yourself from the mental and emotional turmoil that comes from wishing things were different. Acceptance allows you to focus on what you can control and to take meaningful action, rather than wasting energy on trying to change what is outside of your influence. Another important Stoic principle that helps you transform adversity into growth is amor fati, or the love of fate. This idea goes beyond mere acceptance. It encourages you to embrace everything that happens, even the challenges and setbacks, as necessary parts of your journey. The Stoics believed that everything happens for a reason, and that each event, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity for growth. By adopting the mindset of amor fati, you begin to see adversity not as something to dread, but as something to welcome, because it is through adversity that you are able to become stronger and wiser. Amor fati helps you let go of the need for control over external events. When you understand that adversity is not something that can be avoided, but something that is essential to your growth, you stop trying to control every aspect of your life. You begin to trust in the process, knowing that even the most challenging experiences have something to teach you. This mindset not only reduces anxiety and frustration, but it also opens you up to the lessons that adversity has to offer. Stoicism also teaches the importance of perseverance in the face of adversity. Life's challenges are not always quick to resolve, and sometimes the difficulties you face will persist for longer than you'd like. Perseverance is the ability to keep going, even when the path is hard, even when it feels like there is no end in sight. Stoic perseverance is rooted in the understanding that growth is a slow and often difficult process. It requires patience and the willingness to endure discomfort in the pursuit of something greater. When you persevere through adversity, you develop a deeper sense of resilience. Each time you push through a challenge, you strengthen your ability to handle future difficulties. This doesn't mean that the challenges become easier, but that your capacity to endure them grows. Perseverance teaches you that you are capable of more than you might have initially believed, and this realization becomes a source of inner strength. One of the key Stoic practices for reframing adversity is the use of negative visualization. This involves mentally preparing yourself for the possibility of challenges or setbacks before they happen. By imagining the worst-case scenario, you reduce the shock and emotional impact if that scenario comes to pass. Negative visualization is not about pessimism or dwelling on negative outcomes. It's about mentally fortifying yourself so that when adversity strikes, you are ready to face it with a calm and prepared mind. This practice helps you build mental resilience because it removes the element of surprise from adversity. Instead of being caught off guard when things go wrong, you have already considered the possibility and are prepared to handle it. Negative visualization also helps you appreciate the present moment by reminding you that things could always be worse. By contemplating adversity in advance, you become more grateful for the challenges you don't have to face and more resilient when you do encounter difficulties. Another Stoic technique for transforming adversity into growth is focusing on the present moment. Often, when adversity strikes, your mind races ahead, imagining all the possible negative outcomes and creating a sense of overwhelm. Stoicism teaches that by grounding yourself in the present, you can reduce the anxiety and stress that come from worrying about the future. The Stoics believed that the present moment is all you truly have, and by focusing on what you can do right now, you regain a sense of control. When faced with adversity, it's easy to become consumed by the big picture. How will this challenge affect your life? What will the long-term consequences be? But Stoicism encourages you to break the challenge down into smaller, more manageable pieces. Focus on what you can do today, in this moment, to move forward. By taking small, deliberate steps, you make progress without becoming overwhelmed by the magnitude of the challenge. This approach not only reduces stress, but also empowers you to take action, no matter how difficult the situation. Adversity also provides an opportunity to practice self-discipline. When life is easy, it's easy to let go of the habits and practices that keep you grounded and focused. But when adversity strikes, self-discipline becomes essential. Stoicism teaches that self-discipline is the foundation of a virtuous life. It is the ability to do what is necessary, even when it is difficult. Adversity tests your self-discipline, and by practicing it in the face of challenges, you strengthen your ability to stay on course, even when things are not going your way. Self-discipline in adversity means staying true to your values and principles, even when it would be easier to give in to frustration, anger, or despair. It means maintaining your focus and continuing to take positive action, even when the results are not immediately visible. By practicing self-discipline in the face of adversity, you not only overcome the challenge, but also build the mental and emotional strength needed to handle future difficulties with grace and resilience. Stoicism also teaches that adversity is a time for self-reflection. When things are going well, it's easy to coast through life without much thought about your actions or decisions. But adversity forces you to confront yourself and to examine your values, priorities, and goals. It is during these difficult times that you have the opportunity to gain deeper insight into who you are and what truly matters to you. Adversity strips away the superficial, leaving you with the core of your character. This process of self-reflection helps you grow, not just as a person, but as someone who is more aligned with their true purpose. Self-reflection also allows you to learn from adversity. Every challenge contains within it a lesson, whether it's about patience, resilience, or the importance of letting go. By reflecting on your experience, you can extract the wisdom that the challenge has to offer. This doesn't mean that adversity is easy or enjoyable, but it does mean that it has value. Each time you face a challenge and come out on the other side, you become a little wiser, a little stronger, and a little more prepared for whatever comes next. In conclusion, Stoicism teaches that adversity is not something to fear or avoid, but something to embrace as an essential part of growth. By reframing adversity as an opportunity to practice resilience, patience, and self-discipline, you transform challenges into stepping stones toward greater strength and wisdom. Through practices like acceptance, amor fati, perseverance, and self-reflection, Stoicism empowers you to face adversity with courage and grace, knowing that each challenge is an opportunity for growth. When you adopt this mindset, you break free from the cycle of fear and resistance, and instead, you begin to see adversity for what it truly is, a chance to become the best version of yourself. As we wrap up this journey into Stoicism, the path to breaking the negative cycles in your life becomes clear. It's not about avoiding challenges or controlling every outcome. It's about shifting your focus to what you can control, embracing responsibility, letting go of unhealthy attachments, and seeing adversity as an opportunity for growth. Through Stoic practices, you can cultivate a resilient mindset, find inner peace, and ultimately break free from the limitations that have been holding you back. This is your moment to take control, not of the world, but of yourself. Now it's your turn. What's one negative cycle in your life that you're ready to break? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your insights and experiences. If this content resonated with you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join our community of growth-minded individuals. Together, we can keep pushing forward on this path of self-mastery and resilience. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.